All right. Hello, good evening. So I'm going to start today's class. Today we have two things to cover. All right. The first one is going to be the passive causative, and the second one is going to be a reported speech. So let's do it. You know that today is going to be the last class, so it's going to be important that you can ask any doubts that you may have. After today's class, I'm going to assign the final test. All right. So it's important again that you can solve any doubt that you have, right, by the end of this class. So let's begin with the first topic. We're going to divide this class then in two parts. I'm going to try to cover this until like 6:40, 6:45, all right, so that we have the rest of the time. No, even it's going to be until 7 more or less, because the last topic is going to be not something new. We're going to only learn what tenses use, all right, and what changes we have to make for a reported speech. But passive causative may be a little bit hard for some of you. This is something that we already started like taking a look at on Friday. If you remember, I'm going to open this up. We were analyzing these ideas, right? What do you do when you require a service? And you were talking about this. You answered these questions and you read the definition. But it's important to refresh this information. So let's please read this definition. Melissa, help me out with this, please.
Okay, teacher. Definition. We use a causative verb when we want to talk about something that someone else did for us, for another person. It means that the subject caused the action to happen, but didn't do it themselves. Maybe they paid or asked or persuaded the other person to do it.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Melissa. So that's the definition, right? You use the causative verb, or in general, you use passive causative to say that someone else did something for you, right? And remember, it's very likely, it means it's very possible, all right? It's very possible that you paid, all right? That you paid that person so that that person can do that thing for you, right? It's like a professional relation over there. And we have this illustration, right? And you also read this with me. But let's remember, once again, we need to refresh this information. Please, with me, if you can help me with points number 1, 2, and their examples, please. Let's read them.
Okay, if we say I clean my house, this means I clean it myself. If I pay someone to clean it, of course I can say a cleaner cleaned my house.
Thank you very much. And we said, right, that there's a third way. The first one, I cleaned my house, active, right? Who cleaned your house? You did it, right? I did it. I cleaned my house. Number 2, a cleaner cleaned my house, right? What does it mean? It means that someone else, right, who, a cleaner, cleaned the house for you. Now, in English, all right, there's a third way. In Spanish, I think we don't have this way. I think we don't say the third way in Spanish. It's something that is particular or right or specific to English. And number 3, please, you're going to help me out with that one. Lourdes, let's read number 3, the example and the explanation, please.
Okay, number 3, another way is to use a causative construction. So I can also say, I had my house cleaned. In this sentence, the important thing is that the house is not clean. We don't focus on who did the cleaning.
Thank you very much, Lourdes. So that is the important thing here. And this is what we were analyzing, right? What is the difference between I cleaned my house and I had my house cleaned? The difference is that in the first one, you did the action, right? You cleaned your house. And in the second one, someone else did it. When you say I had my house cleaned, it means that you made someone clean your house, okay? And so this is clear for all of you because I know that you may have some questions about that. I'm using this document, but first I'm going to share it with you. We're going to be practicing here, but before practicing, I'm going to show you the difference and I'm going to write some examples so that you tell me the difference, all right? So the link is in the chat, as always. You can go to that document because that's the document we're going to be using today for these final practices. And we have the following thing. Let me write 3 examples. No, first, only 2 examples for you. All right. The first example, this is the passive causative, right? In the passive causative, right, if you have one sentence and it's active, it can be this sentence, look. All right. Then you have one more. All right. We're going to write 2 more over here. The last one is the example that you have in on the presentation, right? So let's analyze this first. Let's begin by the first 2 sentences, and please you're going to help me out with these 2 first sentences. Sharai, let's read the 2 first sentences and tell me what is the difference between these 2 sentences for you.
Okay, I have cleaned my house. I have my house cleaned. So the difference is the word cleaned, and the second word it's at the end. It's after the complement. And in the first sentence is before the complement.
Very good. Yes, that's the big difference, right? I have cleaned my house. I have my house cleaned. Now, this question is also for you, Sharai. Who did the action, all right? Who did the action on the first sentence and who did the action on the second sentence?
Okay. In the first sentence, we don't know who cleaned the house. And in the second sentence, I'm don't really sure about that. I don't know if we did the action or it's the same like the first.
Okay, we're going to analyze that. All right, we're going to analyze that. Thank you very much, Sharai. Then, Luciana, right? You have your hand raised. Tell me.
Okay, teacher, I was going to tell that the difference between the first and the second sentence maybe could be that in the first, the person says that that person has cleaned his house, and in the second, it will be that some other person have cleaned the house.
Okay. Good, perfect. Thank you very much, Luciana. So let's analyze. Thank you very much. So Sharai, Luciana, right? You have 2 different perspectives. Now let's analyze what you have here. I, right, is the subject. Have, is it the verb or is it only the auxiliary verb? What do you say? Because after have, you have another verb that is cleaned. So when you have a verb that is in the past participle just right next to have is not a verb anymore. It is an auxiliary verb, right? And what does it mean, all right? I don't want you to know that it's an auxiliary verb, but I'm telling you so that you know that now it means that it's a specific tense. And what tense is this? This is the present perfect. Remember, what was the structure of the present perfect? Subject plus have or has plus the verb, right? In the past participle, right? Plus any object. That is the present perfect. And it means that this is active. So I have cleaned my house means that I did it. All right. As Luciana said, when you say I have cleaned something, it means that you did it. I cleaned it. All right. In other words, you can say this. I cleaned, all right, the house. Because later we're going to see that we can say it also. But we're going to say know when. Actually, you know when, but I'm going to remind you. So in the first one, I'm doing the action, all right? I have cleaned the house. I cleaned the house. I did it. No one else, okay? I did it. And in the second one, as also Luciana mentioned, someone else did it. Why? Because if you remember the structure that we, all right, took a look at on Friday, the structure was, this is passive causative. How do you recognize that this is passive causative? Because of the formula of the structure. What was the structure? Have plus object, right? Plus, sorry, plus the verb, right? In the past participle. So the difference is not big. As you can see, it's a very small difference, but if you don't recognize the difference, you're going to make mistakes. And what is the characteristic of the passive causative? When you have plus object plus verb in the past participle, it means that someone else did it. All right. And in other words, you can say someone else, all right, cleaned the house for me. Okay, that is the main big difference between these two. And it's important that you can recognize that. Okay, it's very, very important that you can recognize that. Look at the position of the words. All right. If you say again, I have cleaned my house, I have repaired my car, it means that you did it. All right. I have painted my house, it means that you painted your house. I painted my house. But if I say I have my house painted, it means that always, all right, frequently, someone else paints the house for me. If I say I have my car repaired, it means that frequently someone else paints, or sorry, repairs the car for me or paints the house for me. All right, it means that that action is being done by someone else. It happens the same here, but you're going to tell me this time, please. Mariana, let's work this with you. Number 3 and number 4. Read those two and tell me what's the difference that you see between those two sentences, please. Mariana, are you there? All right, I think we're having some problems. So let's read this one with you, please. Luciana, if you can help me out with these sentences, 3 and 4.
Okay, teacher. I cleaned my house. I had my house cleaned.
Thank you very much. So in the first one, right, I used the present perfect and this sentence in present because I wanted to show you that they are very similar, right? Have cleaned, have my house cleaned. But on number 3 and 4, I'm using past because actually the two sentences are in past, in simple past. But the difference is the same, right? So can you tell me one more time, please, Luciana? Can you explain your own words? What's the difference between sentences 3 and 4?
Okay. The first difference is that in sentence 3, the person is telling that that person clean his house, and in the second, it's not a specific who cleaned the house, but gives to understand that when says I had my house cleaned, um, some some other people do the clean of the house.
Exactly, correct. And did it in this time, right? Because both are parts, so someone else did it. Perfect. Thank you very much, Luciana. That's correct. On the first one, I did it, right? On the second one, right, it means that someone else did it, right? I did it, someone else did it. And in this case, I said did it, right? But this is present. So we can also say here, someone else does it, all right, for me. Someone else does it. So that is the main difference. I did it, all right, someone else. Now that you understand the difference, okay, anytime you have the formula, if you see, you have the formula here. What was the formula? Have, and remember that have can be in present, right, in past, in future. After have, you have any object, all right, plus the verb in the past participle, right? Now, something very important, because you've been telling me that you had some problems with this. It means the following, all right? Object. What is an object? I'm going to ask that to some of you. For example, Lourdes, can you give me some example of some objects? What are objects for you in this formula or in grammar?
It could be something or even someone who you apply the action in grammar.
Okay, very good. Something or someone. That is great. That receives the action, right? Exactly. You can see apply the action or that receives the action. Perfect, Lourdes. Thank you very much. And I have an extra question for you. If I say, for example, right, I always, I paint, or let's use the passive causative. Now, my question is the following here, Lourdes. What object can I use to replace my house here? What words can we use to replace my house? What is a different way to say this sentence, Lourdes?
Maybe with it.
Yes, correct. Exactly. We use it. If you see on my examples, I'm not using it. Why? Because it is an indefinite, all right, let's say pronoun. When you say it, it's a pronoun, but what is it? It can be a house, can be the party, can be the president, even sometimes can be the president, can be the dog, can be an idea, all right? An idea or a country. It can be many, many things. So what is it? Can be your house, can be your car. We only use it when you are repeating the word twice at least, right? So if you mention my house before, instead of my house, you're going to say, as Lourdes said, it. I always have it painted. It means that you always make someone, all right, paint your house. And if you see, we're still following the formula. We have plus object plus the verb in the past participle, right? Here, the same. This have plus object, right? Plus verb in the past participle. It means that we're still following the formula, all right? It's just that here we are using my house, and here we are using it, that is replacing my house. And again, why do we use it? When you don't want to mention the object again. And in grammar, usually, to not repeat my house, you say it directly. Now, with that explanation, let's go back to the presentation, all right? And on this presentation, we're going to go now to the structure of have and how to use it once again. This is the structure, right? Remember that we covered this on Friday, but now we're going to be writing some examples. Please, Whitney, help me out with this, Whitney. Read the formula and the explanation of have, please.
Okay, have plus object plus past participle have something done. We usually have something done when we are talking about paying someone to do something for us. It's often used for service.
Thank you very much, Whitney. So, and also this is very formal, all right? On Pearson, I think that you're going to be using have, all right? You're going to be using have because it's used for professional, all right, like contact, for professional services that you can require. So again, the formula, have plus object. Now, as we said with Lourdes, object can be a person, object can be a real object, object can be the name of something, for example, the house, or object can be the pronoun, right? It, them, etc. Now, let's read the formula, but the complete formula this time for the examples. And the two examples, please, Sharai.
The form is subject plus have plus object plus past participle. Number 1, I have my car washed. Number 2, John will have his house painted.
Thank you very much. So in other words, what you're saying here is the following, right? Let me show you. I remember that on Friday, you asked me, right? Can I use present? And I wrote some examples for you. How do you say this in other words? I had my car washed. In other words, you say that I paid someone to, to wash my car in the past. So that is what you're saying with this sentence. I had my car washed, because had is in past. It means that you paid someone to wash your car, and I'm doing this for emphasis, all right? Just for emphasis, in the past. But this one is different. John will have his house painted. What is the meaning of this sentence? John, right, will pay someone, right, to paint his house, right? And again, this is only for emphasis in the future, because we already have we already have paid, but so that we don't have any questions, all right? I had my car washed. That sentence means I paid someone to wash my car in the past. John will have his house painted. It means that John will pay someone to paint his house, right, in the future. And it can be in present. Remember, it can be even simple, right? It was like this, sorry. I always, the example that I wrote, right, have my car repaired. What is the meaning of that sentence? That I always pay someone, right, to repair my car, right? And this is routine. With always, it's clear, right? I'm not going to say in the present this time. So this is the idea. Do you understand? Do you have any questions? Let me know if you don't, please. I'm saying car here because if I say it, what am I talking about? It can be a car, it can be something, right? That's why I'm saying here the car or my car, all right? But if I mention this a second time, it's exactly the same to say I had it. washed. It's the same. The same happens here. It's exactly the same to say John will have it painted, right? But I'm using now it because I'm mentioning the car twice. So it, his house, it. If it's plural, if I have these cars, I'm going to ask this to some of you. What do you say, Lourdes? Well, once again, for you, what do I have to use if I want to replace my cars? What word can I use over there? I always have what repaired? What word can replace a plural object? What do
I
you
don't
think?
know. I think that it's theirs.
Very close. There is actually possession. Theirs is also possession, right? Remember that the object for plural, it's going to be them.
Oh,
All right, them.
oh
Exactly.
yes,
Right,
right.
them. So for singular, it. For plural, them. So again, I'm not saying here them because I need to be more specific, right? This is my first sentence. You don't know what I'm talking about. So to make you sure that I'm talking about this, I'm going to use first my cars, because I'm going to use that. And second one, I'm going to use them. But realize it's important that you can realize that I'm always following the formula. I always have, object, verb in the past participle. Have, object, verb in the past participle, right? I'm always following the formula. It can be in past, it can be in future, it can be in present, but the idea is that we always need to follow this structure. If you don't use object, okay, what happens if you don't use object? Here, for example, look. What is the meaning of I had washed? It means that you, right, in the past had washed, but what? And this is not passive causative. It doesn't mean that someone else did it for you. If you say this here, right, I will have painted. This is a structure that you didn't learn yet. This is the future perfect. John will have painted. It means that John will have done something, but we didn't learn that yet, all right? So again, you need subject, have, object, and past participle, and that order cannot change here, all right? Let's try to practice a little bit. You have these examples over here. Please, I'm resending the link once again. The link is in the chat. Let's go to that document and let's write 2 sentences, please. Let's write 2 sentences with passive causative. All right, it means that you have to use this structure. I want to see how you do it. All right, 2 sentences only, please. All right, and again, for the ones who are still a little bit confused about this, remember that have doesn't always mean possession. Here, have is not possession. It's not the same to say, right, I have a car. No. Here, may or have is more similar to like hired someone. All right. I hired someone to wash the car for me. It's more or less like that. Okay. Have is not possession in this sentence. remember, please try to check the presentation one more time. Be sure that you're going to be following, right? This is something we did on Friday. I know some of you were having some problems, right, with the connection and had to be here again. So try to check the formula, right? Here we are using have as something else. We are not using have as a possession, right? And you have to use past participle. It means you have to use have, you have to use object, and you have to use past participle. If not, perhaps your sentence is going to be correct, but it's not going to be passive causative. All right. If you want to write a sentence in the passive causative, you need have, object, past participle, right? Have my car washed means that someone else washed the car for me. Have my house painted means that someone else painted, right, the house for me. Have my car repaired, it means that someone else repaired the car for me, right? You need that structure. She has her hair, right, done, right, combed, or whatever you want, all right? It means that someone else is doing that action for her. Okay, be sure that you're following the structure, please. It's have plus object plus past participle, right? That's going to be important to write there. Okay, I'm going to start checking some examples that I'm realized that are done, and I'm going to, well, give some corrections and recommendations. So let's begin with you, please, Sharai, if you can read your two sentences.
Okay, my dad always has his car washed. Number two, I
Very
have my thesis checked.
great. That is great. Both sentences are correct, Sharai. Very well done. The first one in present, right? You have the formula, you have the subject, you have in present with has because it's third person. You have an object, his car, and washed. It means that your dad, right, doesn't wash his car. It means that someone else, right, washes the car for him. Perfect. And in the second one as well, this time it's past, right? I had my thesis checked. It means that in the past, someone else checked or revised your thesis. That is great, Sharai. Now, question, Sharai, do you have any questions about this structure? Do you understand? Let me know, please.
No, teacher, everything is clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I'm going with you, Lourdes. Yes, you're first here. Let's read your two sentences, please, Lourdes.
Okay, the first one, I will have my dress cleaned for the wedding day. And the second one, she had the flowers prepared for the Mother's Day.
Very good. Perfect. Once again, first future, second past, always have the object, my dress, and in the second one, the flowers, and the verb in the past participle, cleaned, and in the second one, prepare, right? And then the rest is only complement, right? Correct. So once again, for you this time, Lourdes, is this structure clear for you? Do you have any questions that I can solve?
No, teacher, everything is clear.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Melissa, let's go with your sentences, please.
The first one is he had his house cleaned every week by a cleaning company. I don't know if that's correct. And the last one is they had their instruments customized to their personal taste.
Very good. Both sentences are perfect, Melissa. Okay. Even you can say every week with present sentences or with past sentences if they are simple past. In this case, you're using simple past, so it's perfect, right? Have object plus verb in the past participle, and this is the complement. It's perfect. Then here, they had their instruments, right, customized, and this is only complement, right, to their personal taste. But it works great. So this is just in case for you to know, it can be present if you want. He has his house cleaned every week by a cleaning company. And also, this is not correction, okay? This is not correction, but I'm showing this to the rest. You can say, and you can mention the agent, but it's optional, right? Only if you want to mention the agent, you can do it by adding by, right? But if you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. And the same here, it can be present, it can be past. You have many options there, Melissa, but the idea here is to do what you did because it's perfect. Always have, always an object, and always a verb in the past participle. The rest of the information are details only, Melissa. Do you have any questions about this structure? Let me know, please.
There's a synonym to cleaning company or other word to say that, or cleaning company is the only option?
A cleaning company works great. So you can say in general, right, by a cleaner or by cleaners. Sometimes they say more like that, okay, a cleaner or cleaners, but a cleaning company works perfect over there, Melissa. There's no something specific that cleans houses, for example. So they are only cleaners, all right? So that reference is correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. That's great. I think so far we don't have many questions. I don't know if you're here. Mariana, I see that you're here, but let's read your sentences. I don't know if you were able to write them. Are you there, Mariana? I think we still have problems with Mariana. I hope that she can watch this video. And let's finish this out with you, please. No, we have two more. Whitney, let's read yours, please.
Okay, my sister often had my room tidied. They have clothes washed.
Okay, clothes, right? Now, on the second one, perhaps let's check, right? They have clothes washed. Good, that's great. But sometimes that clothes, right? It's too general. Perhaps you can add something to do it more specific, as this is a more specific idea. I would recommend to add any of these. It can be the clothes, it can be their clothes, or it can be some clothes. All right, even that's like indefinite, but it gives like a little bit more like being specific to that word, and it's a little bit more natural. All right, so they have clothes, or the clothes, their clothes, some clothes washed. That would be great, and it's great. Now I have a question then for you, Whitney. Do you have any specific questions about this structure? Let me know, please, if you do.
No, teacher.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. And Luciana, let's read yours, please.
Okay, the first one is he had a buffet every year on his birthday. The last one is I'm going to have my haircut for my anniversary.
Okay, very good. Now, the only thing that it's not like working on number one, if you see, because I changed this, right? You have it like that, haircut, but haircut is like a noun, right? If you say my hair cut, then it works, right? Because you're using have plus object plus cat is the past participle of cat, right?
Yes,
So here,
that way at the first, but I think that the correction do that.
okay,
But
yes, that way it was read. But on number one, if you realize you're not following the formula, it means your sentence is correct, Luciana, but this is not passive causative. He had a buffet every year on his birthday. It means that he like organized a buffet every year on his birthday, but this is not passive causative. Remember, Luciana, if you want to use passive causative, you have to use the formula have plus object plus past participle, right? If not, the sentence is correct, but this is not passive causative. Perhaps you can say, tell me, Luciana.
it will be okay if I say he had a buffet make it every year on his birthday.
Remember that make, the past participle is made, but instead of made, perhaps you can say like prepared,
Yes.
all right? So yes, now it is a passive causative, right? Because in this case, he is not preparing, right, the buffet. Someone else is doing it for him, right? But that's great. Yes. Remember, make, made, and then prepare, or you can say organized. But in this case, prepared is going to work very well. Do you have any questions about this, Luciana? Just one recommendation. Be sure that you always have object, and verb in the past participle. Any questions? Let me know, please.
No, teacher, thank you very much. It's okay.
Okay, thank you. Now, to finish with this topic, we only have one more way to write passive causative, and it's with get. Remember, please, before writing sentences with get, the only difference, or write literally, the only difference is that this is more informal, and this is like not a professional relationship. Remember that have is formal, all right? Have is formal and have is professional. It means that you pay someone, all right, to do something for you. But if you use get, it's not formal, all right? It's less formal, let's say, and it's not always that you pay someone. Sometimes it means that you convinced someone to do it. Not every time, all right? It also works for professional relationships, but it's informal, all right? It's an informal way to say it. So help me read, please, the formula and the first explanation until that part. Lourdes, let's work that with you, please.
Okay, get plus subject plus past participle, get something done. We can also use subject plus get plus object plus past participle. This has the same meaning as have, but is less formal. Also, it means that someone causes something to happen, not in a professional way necessarily.
Great, thank you very much, Lourdes. That is correct. So as I said, right, less formal, not always in a professional way, all right? It means that you did something, right, so that someone else do that for you. But again, the meaning of these sentences are the same as the sentences with have. The only difference, take that into account, is less formal and sometimes not professional. With that idea, help me out with the two sentences, please. Melissa, if you can read sentences number 1 and number 2, please.
Okay, teacher, sorry. The first one is the students always get their essays checked, and the last one is he got his washing machine fixed.
Great, thank you very much. So once again, if you realize here, the students are not doing the action, right? Who is doing the action? We don't know. Perhaps is the teacher, perhaps is the professor, perhaps is a tutor. We don't know. But one thing is for sure is that someone else is doing that for the students. the students are not doing that action. So that's the first one. And number two, he is not doing that action, right? Who is fixing the washing machine? Someone else, a professional, right? A relative, a friend, we don't know. But again, the only thing that we know when you say get plus object plus past participle is that someone else is doing that for him. Okay, as you can see, it's the same as have. It's exactly the same. It's just the context that is different in the meaning that it's less formal. That's it. I mentioned that many times, but I want that to be stuck in your head, all right? That's the only difference. Please, do you have any questions? Let me know. If you don't have more questions, let's write two more sentences with get, and that's it. We are going to go to the last topic. Okay? Two more sentences, please. Go to the file, and you can use present, you can use past, you can use future to use get as passive causative. Let's do it, please.
Sorry, teacher, I have one question.
Yes, go ahead, please, Luciana.
I'm a little confused. Respect, how can I say I can follow all that rules, but say the sentence in present?
In present, the only thing is that the main verb, it means get, has to be in present. And it's the same as with have. I'm going to give you an example, Luciana. If you're taking a look at my screen, for example, the first example, Luciana, it's in present. The students always get their their essays checked. This is present. It doesn't matter that this word is in past participle, Luciana. It's only one structure. This sentence is present, all right? You can say, for example, she gets, right? Very similar to your example, Luciana. She gets her hair done, or cut, let's say, done every, right, weekend. This is also present. When do you realize that this is present, Luciana? Because of the main verb. If the main verb get is in present, it means that your idea is in present. It doesn't matter that this is past participle, okay? It's present. The second one is past. You can also write that in future like this. She will get, all right? She will get her hair cut every weekend or tomorrow, all right? So the only thing that you need to change, Luciana, is the main verb. If that is in present, then it's present. Do you have any extra questions? Let me know.
No, teacher, thank you.
Okay, great, thank you, you're welcome. All right, so let's start checking to finish this lesson. As I told you, at 7 o'clock, we're going to start with the last lesson. Let's begin with you, please, Sharai, once again. Let's read your 2 sentences, please.
Okay. The first one is they will get their tickets bought. Last month she got her dog's hair cut.
Okay, good. So in the first one, we have a future idea we get. The second one, a past idea we get. Then you have your object, right? Their tickets and her dog. Now in this case, right? Let's see. Okay. Now it's part of your object. Then it's okay. Her dog's hair cut. It's perfect. I see no observations, no corrections, just one comma over there if you want to be precise with punctuation, but that's perfect. And again, Sharai, any questions about how to use get as passive causative? Let me know, please.
No, teacher, everything is clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Lourdes, let's go with you, please. Let's read your 2 examples.
Okay, my brother always gets his English exam checked by my mom, and they got their lunch bought.
Great, very good. On the first one, you decided to mention the agent, right? That is optional, but you can do it, and that's perfect. Just one thing, remember that word's always going to be with capital letter, but that's great. First present, second past, the object, and the verb in past participle. Once again, Lourdes, any questions about how to use get as passive, causative, passive?
No,
Let me know.
teacher, everything is clear.
Great, thank you very much. Melissa, let's go with you. Let's read your 2 examples, please.
Okay, teacher. The first one is she always get a lot of presents for her birthday, and the last one is I got my homework graded last night.
Okay, good. Now on the first one, right? In the second one, you have the formula. You have get plus object, my homework, plus a verb in the past participle, right? So very good. I got my homework graded last night. Now on the first one, first I have one correction, but mainly we don't have the structure. If you see, you have, right, this is going to be get. She always gets a lot of presents. Your sentence is correct, but if you realize this is not passive causative. Passive causative means that someone else is doing an action for you, but it's not like they are buying, right? Here, it only means she always receives a lot of presents for her birthday, but there's no passive causative because you don't have the object and you don't have like the verb in the past participle, right? What would you add to change this and to make this sentence passive causative, Melissa? What would you do? Perhaps you may change the idea, right? But because if you say a lot of presents, sorry. Okay, that's also a reminder. I'm going to, please, Lourdes, before you leave, I'm going to make you take the survey. All right, it's going to be important to take it. Do you need to leave now? Let me know, please, Lourdes. Lourdes, are you there? In the meantime,
Yes,
please.
teacher.
Oh, yes. Are you going to leave the class very soon, or are you going to stay in class, Lourdes?
No, I'm going to stay because my postgrad class ended the Friday.
Okay, very good, Lourdes. Then it's okay. I'm going to, all right, make you take the survey at the end of the class. That was it, Lourdes. Thank you. So, Melissa, going back to you, remember that then to change this sentence to passive causative, Melissa, you need get plus object, right, plus the verb in the past participle. So you can have like a different idea, right? Try to think of that example, please, Melissa. I'm going to go to your partners and I'm going to go back to you at the end.
Okay, teacher.
Mariana, all right, thank you. Mariana is not here. She, well, text me. She's having some problems. Whitney, let's go with you, please.
Okay, the doctors get the registration checked. Cleans often got the meals cooked.
Okay, good. So that was it was free, right? Because that choked is going to be something different, right? So it has to be like that, right? Cooked. Great. Very good. So doctors get plus object, in this case, the registrations, plus checked, past participle. Got the object meals plus cooked, past participle. Okay, very good. Do you have any questions about how to use get as passive causative with me? Let me know, please, if you do.
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you very much. And Luciana, let's go with you, please.
Okay. I was having some problems in the first one because I'm not sure if it's necessary the participle verb at the end, but I put it anyways because that's the form. The first one is Maya got her scholarship received. And the second one is I will get a new cat for my birthday.
Okay. Also remember, please, here, Luciana, it's like the same thing on the first one. Also, please, one thing it's important, not all the ideas can be constructed with passive causative, right? No, not all the ideas. Why? Because not every time it's possible that someone else does something for you, right? So for example, on the first case, Luciana, yeah, this is the formula and it's good. It's got plus her scholarship right? Plus you have the past participle, but then you have to ask yourself, Luciana, if this is okay. When you say Maya got her scholarship received, it means that Maya, all right, made a person, all right, receive her scholarship. That is more or less the idea that you're giving. All right, you're telling me that Maya made a person, convinced a person, or paid a person, all right, to receive, all right. Of course, if I say this verb is going to be not receive anymore, it's going to be or to receive or something like that. With make is only receive, but that is the idea, Luciana. So if you try to transmit that idea, Luciana, Maya made or convinced or pay a person to receive her scholarship, then it's correct. Perhaps you can say also here, instead of receive, like accepted, all right? But again, the idea is a little bit weird, Luciana, because you're telling me that Maya had to convince someone, all right, had to convince someone. But with the scholarship, is not like that good. And on the second one, if you say, Luciana, you don't have the formula, because we'll get a new cat. It's like saying we'll obtain, all right, let's say a new cat, sorry, will receive a new cat for my birthday. But this is not passive causative, because you are saying that you're going to receive someone, that's correct. But passive causative is when you say that someone else has done or is doing an action for you, and that action has to be clear. All right, so you need once again here in Luciana, you need get plus a object, right, plus verb in the past participle. If you don't have that, it's not going to be a passive causative. And again, your sentences can be okay, Luciana, but they are not passive causative. You have to use passive causative for doing, all right, the thing that we mentioned, Luciana. It means someone else is doing something for you, and you have to mention what. Here, for example, I'm going to help you very quickly with this. I know that I'm on the time. So Maya got what? You can say, instead of her scholarship, let's say that you asked a friend, all right, who went to the United States to help you, all right, with your application for the scholarship, all right? So you can say her application, right, revised by her friend. It means that your friend, or well, Maya's friend, revised the application for her. All right,
Okay.
so get
Passive causative, right?
yes, exactly. Passive causative. That's the topic, Luciana. So
Causative needs like for form or something, it needs the verb and the verb get in past or in present and a participle verb.
an object and a participle verb, exactly. Because if you don't mention the object, it's also going to be incorrect, because it's not going to be a passive causative. The same here, you can say something like this, and this is the last thing, all right? I will get, right, what? Whatever you want, all right? Any object plus any action. You can say, I will get my car washed, like in the first examples, right? I will get my hair cut, etc., etc. All right, so that's the idea. Let me know if you have any more questions, please, Luciana, because that's the correction that you need to do.
No, thank you, teacher.
Okay, thank you very much. And let's see if you have this here, or perhaps later on, all right? Melissa, also, if you have some questions about passive causative, let me know. We're finishing this topic here. Do you have any extra questions? Melissa, Lourdes, Whitney, Sharai, let me know, please.
It will always be with get, right? Not with received or the other word that
Yeah,
you
exactly.
use with Luciana.
Exactly. No, it cannot be, because in that case, I said that it is obtained received because this sentence is not passive causative, right? So just in that case, get means that. But in other cases, in passive causative, Melissa, as you said, only get, only have, and only get for passive causative. All right, at least in this sentence. All right.
Okay.
Okay. If you have any extra questions, please let me know. But the idea behind this is the following, as I told you. Someone else is doing that action for you, and you have to use the structure. Get plus object plus past participle, or have plus object plus past participle. The idea again is that someone else is doing that action for you. Because if you say again, and this is to finish, right? If you say, I have a car, that is not past participle or passive causative, right? That is possession. You have a car. If you say, I have cleaned, right, a car, it means that you cleaned a car. But if you say, I have my car cleaned, that is passive causative, right? It means that someone else cleaned the car for you. Okay, so with that explanation, I'm going to go in these last 20-30 minutes that we have for the last topic, that it's actually something that we already did. If you remember, we already talked about the direct and indirect speech, reported, right, and direct speech. But now we're going to learn about statements. The first time it was about imperatives. In this case, it's going to be about statements. So let's take a look at the difference. Please, Whitney, read the definition, please.
Okay, we use report speech when we want to tell someone what someone said. We usually use a reporting verb, say, tell, ask, and then change the tense of what was actually said in direct speech.
Great, thank you very much, Whitney. So again, reported speech is to say what someone else said, right? For example, I can say, Sharai said that she was going to be in class, right, 5 minutes late. Lourdes said, right, that she was going to stay in the class, right, today. So that is reported speech. I'm saying what someone else said. That is the main idea. Very easy, right? We have some steps to work on the reported speeches. And we're going to do this step by step. So the first step, Luciana, let me know, please. What questions do you have?
Teacher, sorry, I have a question in the part, what it means that AG in the parentheses.
Okay, that EG means example given. It's like saying, for example. All right, example given. For example, say, tell, ask are reporting verbs. All right, whenever you see EG, it's like, for example, but the real thing is example given. All right, good. So again, we have steps, and we're going to work this step by step. All right, the first step is the following: introductory idea. First, we need to use, right, an introductory idea. Like, for example, please, Sharai, help me out with these examples. Someone said.
Someone said that. Someone told me that. Someone stated that. Someone declared that.
Thank you very much. Stated, it's very similar to declare. Stated is very similar to said, all right? But this is like a variety of things that you can say. And please notice something. When you say, state, declare, don't use object. You can say this, all right? But it's not very natural. Not many people is going to say this, at least in reported speech. So when you say, only say that verb. If you want to mention the object, me, her, his, Pablo, Melissa, Lourdes, any object, use tell. All right, so say, tell, state, declare. But in this case, we're always going to use, at least here, all right, you can use in present, but in this case, we're going to use them in past so that we understand the change in the reported speech, all right?
And
Let's do
teacher,
this. Tell me,
state
Lucy.
is similar to said.
To declare, to say, to declare. State is like formal, right? More formal. For example, you can say the president stated or declared that. It's a little bit more formal, right? Say and told are very, very common, all right? But they are also a little bit informal. All right, that's the big difference there. Good. So let's do this, please. Go to the files and write 2, okay? Actually, let's write, yes, only 2. Write 2 introductory ideas, only introductory ideas. But please don't say someone. Try to say, for example, last weekend, my father said that, or on the last class, the teacher told me that, right? Try to write only introductory ideas, but try to add extra information. Like, for example, time expressions, all right? Last week, yesterday, a couple of hours ago, last summer, last year, all right, 30 minutes ago. Try to use time expressions, all right, and try to mention a person.
And teacher,
Let's
one
do
more
it.
question.
Yeah, tell
When
me.
we do this or this reported speech, we can use the time. We need to use the time before the subject, or we can say like the president at 5 p.m. declared.
You can, but if you're going to do that, Luciana, you need commas. You can say, for example, someone last week said that, all right, because it's like a clarification. It's not very formal because it's not like the real place of that expression, but if you're going to use it in the middle, Luciana, you need some commas, all right, but it's better if it's at the beginning. All right, so you have those 2 options. Last week, comma, someone said that, or someone said that, or someone last week said that, etc., etc. All right, so only the introductory idea, please. Only until that. We're going to do the rest. Only until that. Okay, try to write that, please. We're going to do this step by step. It's going to be important that you write those 2 introductory phrases on the file, okay?
Teacher, my only doubt is in the commas. I'm not sure if it's okay. I already do 2 sentences, but I'm not sure if after the subject, I have to put the commas there.
No, it's perfect like that. I'm checking your examples now, Luciana. So when the time expression is at the beginning, you only need one comma, Luciana. At 5 p.m., comma, the president declared that no commas there, all right? The only comma is after 5 p.m. Last Friday, comma, my sister told me that no commas there. And again, the only comma is only after Friday. Okay, so your sentences are correct so far, Luciana. All right, you need no more commas there. Okay, remember, please, we are not writing the entire sentence, okay? Only the introductory phrase. The doctor said that, right? Or the president said that, my sister said that, the teacher said that, and you can add time expressions, yesterday, last week, etc., etc. And as I told you, the best place for a time expression is at the beginning. Good. So you have that. That is the first part. Now, the second part, it's going to be the following. You're going to write first the exact phrase that that person said. Okay? First, write direct speech. All right? Don't mind yet about the tense, okay? Reported speech. We're going to do that in the second step, all right? That's for later on. Now, please only write two things, two specific words that that person said. For example, let me show you. You're going to do that down below, okay? Because we're going to do this step by step. So please, Luciana, for example, you down below, you're going to write the exact words that the president declared. What are those words, Luciana? For example, I'm going to write an example in there. You can say that the country, right? This is just my example. You can write something else later. All right, the country, right, has a lot of problems now. Okay, that can be the president's words. Okay, try to do that, please. You're going to write the exact words. Now, only the exact words of the persons, all right, of the people that you wrote. The same for you with me. If you said the doctor said first, and we're going to work here not with remember, not with imperatives. Here we're going to learn something different. That's why try to think of sentences, okay? Complete sentences this time. They can be present, they can be past, they can be future. You need subject plus verb plus any complement, right? For example, the doctor can say, you have to take those pills, right? 2 times per day. So try to say you have to take, because we're going to work with the statements. All right, we're going to work with the statements.
It will be okay if I say at 5 p.m. the president declared that we are in a sanitary emergency.
A sanitary emergency, that's perfect. Very good. Sanitary emergency, that's perfect. And on the second one, now that your first sentence is in present, try to write your second sentence in past or in future, Luciana, so that we see the differences, okay? And that second sentence is what your sister told you. And remember, you have to, don't say her best friend, or imagine that you are your sister. So you can say, my best friend, right, did this to me. Or I had to go to the party. Something like that. Imagine that you are your sister. All right, exactly. And you have to write it there. That's perfect.
it not will be okay if I say my sister. Where is my last Friday my sister told me that her best friend had a baby.
But you need to say that as you are your sister, right? So you can say, my best friend had a baby. Right? Because that's the second step. We're going to convert. So the same for you, please, here with me, for example. Try to delete that and try to write the sentences like on a different part. For example, you can say like this. Look, I'm going to do it for you. Right? The doctor, you can say yesterday, comma, said that, okay, because this is going to be a different structure. We're not going to use imperatives. Said that, and try to write this down below. And here with me, try to use the entire idea of the doctor, but don't use imperatives, okay? The last practice was with imperatives. Here, it's with statements, and statements need like a subject. So you can say, for example, you have to take the pills 2 times a day, right? That is your first sentence. Now you are going to write the exact words that the doctor said. Now down below, the same here, Whitney. I'm doing this down below because the real reported speech is going to be there, up there. So we had experienced a difficult moment for the economy. That's perfect. Okay, just down below, because there, up there, we're going to write reported speech. In quotation marks, we are writing direct speech to make the change, all right, to make the change. Mariana is not here. I have the same with you, Melissa, great. Remember that in this first part, Melissa, don't make change the change yet. You have to pretend that you are your mom, right? So what is your mom saying? I will go to Benny, right, for a month next weekend, right? So let's try to change the she for I, because you're saying your mom's words. The same, your brother, right? Pretend that you are your brother. I am starting, right, to play guitar. Or it's better if you say there, the guitar for instruments. Okay, I am starting to play the guitar in a band. That is great. And here, good, you have in first person Lourdes, I will travel. I was doing very good. And you have to wash. You need to work on your thesis every day. Good. To make a change here, please, Sharai, try to change one of those sentences into the past. Okay, so that you see what's the difference between changing a present sentence and a past sentence. But you decide, which one do you want to change into the past? The first one or the second one, Sharai? Try to change one of them, please. Okay, so that we see the difference. It can be, for example, you needed to work on your thesis every day. All right, that can be the change over there. And you're going to see, I'm making you do this because the change is going to be different. All right, it's going to be different in terms of what you need to do to work with indirect or reported speech. All right, perhaps you want to check. All right, sometimes of course you're not going to say needed to work every day, but let's give it like that for this practice. Now, this is the following step. Now that you have your direct speech, please, you're going to help me reading this to understand this part better. If you can help me out with the first part, please, Whitney, read present simple and present continuous, please. The direct speech and the reported speech.
Okay. Present simple, direct speech, I like ice cream. Report speech, She said she liked ice cream. Present continuous. Direct speech, I am living in London. Report speech, she said she was living in London.
Great. Thank you very much, Whitney. So what is the important thing here? If the direct speech is in simple present, the reported speech is going to be in past simple or simple past. If the reported speech is in present continuous, right? So the direct speech, the reported one is going to be in past continuous. Let's continue. Please, Sharai, if you can help me with past simple and present perfect.
Past simple. I bought a car. She said that she had bought a car. Past perfect. Present perfect. I haven't seen Julie. She said that she hadn't seen Julie. Past perfect.
Past perfect, right? Great. So Sharai, I was able to hear you, but it was very low, like your microphone was very far from you. All right, but I was able to hear. So if it's past simple or simple past, right? I bought a car. It means that your reported speech has to be in past perfect. If you're using present perfect, your reported speech has to be in past perfect as well. So if it's simple past, past perfect. If it's present perfect, past perfect. Okay, past perfect for both. I think that most of you used some of these, but if you didn't, you have more. What if you use the future? So let's go to the next part. Please, Melissa, if you can help me out with sentences with past perfect and will.
Okay, direct tense is past perfect and direct speech is I had taken English lessons before, and reported speech is she said, parentheses, that she had taken English lessons before, parentheses, same, and will on direct speech is I'll see you later, and in reported speech is she said, parentheses, that she would see me later, parentheses, would.
Thank you very much, Melissa. So it's the same idea. Look, if it's past perfect, you use the same tense, okay? You don't change. This is interesting, all right? Past perfect doesn't change in reported speech. It's the same, past perfect, okay? Don't make changes in the tense when you use the past perfect. Had taken, had seen, this is what we learned, right? But if you use future, simple future with will, you have to change it to would, okay? I'll see you later. You're not going to say will, you're going to say would, all right? She would see me later. Let's continue. If you can help me with these parts, can and may, please, Lourdes.
Okay, I can speak perfect English. And she said that she could speak perfect English with good. And may, I may be late. And she said that she might be late with my.
Thank you. Thank you, Lourdes. So what is the past of can? Could. So direct speech, can. Indirect speech or reported speech, could. May is present and might is past. Only in this case, all right? Sometimes they can be present and even future. But when you are with reported speech, might is the past form of may, all right? I may be late. She might be late. And must, please, Luciana, if you can read the example with must.
Okay. Must, direct speech. I must study on the weekend and report speech. She said she had to study on the weekend.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Oh, had to, right? Thank you, Luciana. So must, as we don't have the past form of must, we are going to use had to, all right? She had to study on the weekend instead of I must study on the weekend. Again, you have all this information for you on the presentation, right? But please, to finish today, we have some more minutes, at least 7, 8 more minutes. Please go to the file, all right? Go to your file and write the reported speech, okay? You have to write the reported speech. You have until that, right? You have the doctor said that, the president declared that. You have the first part. So next to that, write the reported speech. For example, right, I'm going to do that one by one. In your case, Luciana, right, your direct speech is, we are in a sanitary emergency and my best friend had a baby. Now here you have to say at 5 p.m. Now you have to go to number 12, right? You have to say at 5 p.m. the president declared, or if you want, you can write the entire sentence in 16. That's up to you. Declare that and use this direct speech, but apply the rules, right? If it's in present, what tense you need to use? If it's in past, what tense you need to use? Okay, let's apply that rule, please. Luciana, the same for you, Whitney. Go to your sentences one more time and make the changes. If they are in present, use the tense that you need. If they are in past, use the tense that you need. And the same for all of you, please. Do that job and we are going to check that. All right, and just in case, I'm showing you the chart on my screen. Present simple go to simple past or past simple. Present continuous goes to past continuous. Past simple goes to past perfect. Present perfect goes to past perfect. Past perfect doesn't change, past perfect also. Will changes to would, can changes to could, may changes to might, and must changes to had to.
And teacher,
Alright.
in my first sentence, how can I change it? Because is the president declared that we are in a sanitary emergency?
And what tense is that? Is that present, past? What do you say, Luciana?
Present.
Present, exactly. So you have to use past. What is the past of are? What do you say? If you remember, there are, tell me.
No, I'm.
Okay, it's where. Remember, I, he, she, it was, we, you, they, were. W-E-R-E. All right, so you can say we were. Okay, so if it's present, past. If it's past, past perfect. Right? And what is the past perfect? If you remember, Luciana, it's had plus the verb in the past participle. All right? If it's past, you change it to past perfect. And the past perfect is had plus the verb in the past participle. All right, so I'm going to start checking to the ones, all right, who were able to finish. So Lourdes, let's read your finished sentences, please.
Okay, he said that he would travel to Tarija for the holidays. My boyfriend told me that he had been doing his work for the class.
Very good. Perfect, Lourdes. Great job. So the first one was future, right? Will. What is the past of will? Would. He would. Very good. The second one was past continuous. And we said any past uses past perfect. So you're using past perfect continuous, and that's perfect. My boyfriend told me that he had been doing. That's great. Great, Lourdes. Do you have any questions about these changes? Let me know, please, Lourdes.
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Now, I'm going to be checking, all right, little by little, don't worry. All right, so let's go with you, please, now with me. Let's try to read the entire sentences. And I'm going to do one thing, please, with me before you read. I'm going to copy this. Now I can copy it here because now this is the reporter's speech. All right. So once again, I'm copying that there and also this one over here. All right. Now let's read those sentences, please.
Okay, my doctor yesterday said that you had to take the pills 2 times a day. The president declared that we had experienced a difficult moment for the economy.
Okay, let's analyze now. In the first one, this is present, right? You have to take present. And you said that you had to take. That is perfect. Simple present goes to simple past. Very good. In number 2, the president declared that, let's read the original, we have experienced, right? That is present perfect. And present perfect changes to past perfect. Very good. The president declared that we had experienced a difficult moment for the economy. That is perfect. I see no mistakes there with me. Do you have any questions about these changes? Do you understand what is reported speech with me? Let me know, please.
Yes, teacher, I understand.
Very good. Thank you very much. Up there, I think, Sharai, you were about to finish. Let's read your sentences, please, Sharai.
I have some doubts on the
Sharai, now I cannot hear you. I can still hear your voice, but very low.
Okay, sorry. Now can you hear me?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, I have some thoughts on the second sentence, but I will read the first. Last week, my mom told us that we had to wash our hands every 5 minutes. And the
Good.
second one is last year, my tutor told me that I have to work on my thesis every day.
Okay, good. Now, again, here they are like correcting this idea, right? You needed to work on your thesis every day. It's correct. Perhaps they want to omit this idea of every day because it sounds like present, but actually it's correct over there, all right? Now, the first sentence, you have to. This is simple present, right? So last week, my mom told us that we had to wash. That is perfect. Number 1, it's great, Sharai. Simple present to simple past. Now, in the second one, I told you to change this to simple past for the exercise, right? To see the difference. So last year, comma, my tutor told me that I now need it. You have to keep the main verb, Sharai, all right? If here needed was the main verb, it means that you have to use needed as the main verb here. All right. Why? Because need is a verb, right? And what is if this is simple past, remember, Sharai, I'm going to show you. Simple past changes to what? To past perfect. And what is past perfect? Had plus the verb in the past participle. So had is okay, but now you need the verb in the past participle. Sorry, down there. Had needed. All right. That is the past participle. Of course, here they want to check this. I need it now because the context, all right, it's not clear for that. That's why they want to check this. But grammatically speaking, you have to do this. If you see the verb in the simple past, you have to change that to the past perfect. All right. And even so that this can work in a better way, we're going to do this like with work. Let's pretend that work is the main verb. All right. You're going to see. So you work on your thesis every day. In that way, they don't want to correct us because of the context. So you can say here, as the main verb is work, what do you do here? You change that for worked. And you delete this. Okay, so that is the change Sharai. If it's simple present, it changes to simple past. Very good. If it's simple past, it changes to past perfect. Had plus verb in the past participle. I don't know if now it's a little bit clearer for you. Do you have any extra questions about this, Sharai? Let me know, please.
No, teacher, it's clear. Thank you very much.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Just check this chart. Okay, you have this on Google Classroom. And if you check it, you're not going to have problems with that. And let's finish this with you, please, Luciana. Let's read your ideas.
Okay, teacher. The first one is at 5 p.m. the president declared that we were in a sanitary emergency. And the last one is last Friday, my sister told me that my best friend is going to have a baby. The comma is, sorry.
Yes, in this case, we don't use a comma after that, all right? It's going to be direct,
Yes, yes.
that my best friend. Now, here, one thing, Luciana, this, my best friend, okay, we're going to finish with everybody here. My best friend had a baby, right? What tense is this, Luciana? What is my best friend had a baby? What tense is that?
Past, simple past.
Exactly. So if you have simple past, look at the formula. What tense do you have to use in the reporter's speech?
Past perfect.
You don't use the future, okay? It's going to be incorrect if you use the future here. You cannot do it because this is reporter's speech, something in the past. So instead of that, what is the main verb here? Had. What is the formula for the past perfect, Luciana? You have to check that again. Past perfect is had plus the verb in the past participle. What is the past participle of had?
Had, I'm not sure.
Yeah, don't worry. Actually, it's going to be the same. All right. Have, simple past, had, past participle, had. So you're going to repeat 2 times had. All right. Why? Because the first had is auxiliary, and the second had is the past participle of your verb. Okay. So my sister told me that my best friend, or in this case, her best friend, had a baby because of the formula. I don't know if you have any questions, Luciana. The main idea that you need to do is following the chart.
No, teacher,
All right.
I think it's only memorize the chart.
Yeah, exactly. Just try to take a look at the chart, memorize those tenses, and it's going to be correct. So I'm finishing here. Sorry, all right, for making you wait more time with you. But this is it. Do you have any questions about everything? Let me know, please. With this, we are finishing the last lesson, all right? That was the last lesson. Passive causative and reporter speech. And as you were able to see, reporter speech was very simple, but you need to memorize the chart. Any questions? Let me know, please.
Teacher, I have one question about the first one about the exam, when it's gonna be, and the second one is where are gonna begin the classes of the second module.
Okay, good. The first one, the exam, I'm going to assign the exam right now. Well, after we finish the class, I assign the final test, and you're going to have until tomorrow at 6 p.m. to take it. Okay, so you can take it tonight, you can take it tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon until 6 p.m. And the second question, I believe that the second part of, well, the second module, the next module, all right, it's going to begin on Wednesday, but I'm going to verify that information and I'm going to send you the answer via WhatsApp. Okay? Very good. So please, the last thing, as always, we are finishing here the class. Today we have the final survey. Please, everybody needs to fill out the survey. Some of you were not filling this out. It's important that if 5 of you, all right, Lourdes, Luciana, Melissa, Sharai, and Whitney, you have to fill out the survey, okay? There are 5 questions, and you have to send the responses. When you do it, that's it. Remember that tomorrow we have a final conversation. Please, the conversation for tomorrow is going to be like the finishing of this course, all right? It's going to be like the feedback of how you did, how you feel, etc. 2 more people, okay, all of you. So it's done. Thank you for being in this class. Thank you for being patient and being more time. See you tomorrow in the conversation. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye, teacher.
Bye-bye. See you. Good night.